Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video where today we are going to be checking out the long time awaited Super Quant support. We've got Black Lair, we've got Lair 19, and we've got Fairy Zetan. And if you are wondering how to use them, well, you've come to the right place. My name is V from the Lavender Lab, and today I'm going to be showing you exactly what combos you need to know to play Super Quant in 2025. Let's get into it. Alright, so on the screen here you can see a tentative list of 40 cards with a 15 card extra. Ignore the Chaos Angel. I personally play it with Chaos Alert Queen and Alert Queen cards. You don't have to do that. For a pure list, this is roughly what you're going to want to be looking at. You've got a crossout package, you've got some talents, you're really trying to insulate your combo, and I'm going to show you exactly why you want those combos insulated in just a moment. But you can see we've got White Lair, we've got Black Lair, Z10, Blue Lair, Green Lair, Red Lair, all the layers, even the 19th one, and I'm going to be going over right now what each of them do. We'll start with Black Lair. So, Black Lair, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can discard one other card and special summon this card from your hand. Now, that is one effect. That is completely done and over. Second effect, if this card is special summoned, you can special summon a Super Quantal Mech Beast extra deck monster from your extra deck by using this card you control as material, and it is treated as an Xyz summon. And if you do, attach a Super Quant monster from your graveyard to it as material. Now, importantly, that is mandatory. You have to have a Super Quant in the grave to activate this effect. But what's not important is how it gets there. See, what Black Lair requires you to have a discard. But if you happen to discard a Super Quant layer, well, then you can just attach that from your graveyard to summon a mech. And this can be used on your opponent's turn on turn 1 to be able to make plays on their turn before you've even gotten a turn, which is great for Super Quants in general. Here, we're not prioritizing it as much. You don't really have to. That is one way you can build, going triple Black Lair, triple White Lair, maybe a little bit bulkier ratios otherwise, but you don't have to do it that way. There's a couple of different ways that we're currently exploring in the Super Quant server, which, by the way, you should totally join. The link is at the top of the description down below. We've got tons of people hard at work developing combos for our Sentai superheroes in card form. With that out of the way, let's move on to Super Quantal Fairy Zetan. Now, Zetan, if it's in your hand and you control a Super Quant monster other than Fairy Zetan, you can special summon it and make its level the exact same level. That effect does not come up at all most of the time, but it is occasionally nice. Now, you can also tribute it and send a Super Quant from deck to graveyard, except a Dark monster, for cost. So if this gets ashed, you've still got a mill of a Super Quant, which is great. Special summon one Super Quant monster from your deck. Now this is just Circular. If you don't know Math Mech Circular, crazy stinking card, long deserved ban that was banned about a year or so ago, I believe. Absolutely wacko card, and we are going to be taking full advantage of our version of it this time around with Zetan. Now, moving on, we have the final additional piece of support in Lair 19, preventing the invasion, the Pitch Black Super Quantum. Now, this card has 3 effects. You can only use each of them once per turn, but they are separate once per turns. So the first one is target an attack position monster and change it to defense position. This can be yours or your opponent's, which, you know, situational. If you have an extra copy of it, if you're playing 3, some people play 3, I'm experimenting with 2 currently, then you can take some advantage of it. Now, that effect doesn't come up as much as the second effect, which is if you control a Super Quant monster, special summon one Super Quant monster from your deck in defense position with a different original attribute from the monsters you control. This effect is crazy and can allow you to combo off in a whole host of ways, even if you just have something like a White Lair on field. You can go Lair 19 for Blue, Blue for Zetan, Zetan for whatever you'd like. Now, that's all the new support out of the way. And we are going to, oh, I apologize, we have a third effect here that does not come up. You can just set a Super Quant trap from your deck and it can be activated this turn. There are only 2 Super Quant traps, and while one of them looks like the Super Quant Sangen summoning, if you know Tenpai, the other one is just an OTK tool, and both of them are kind of situational. You can see the OTK tool down here. It's not a perfect OTK tool, and it's more just for fun, but if you'd like to play it, by all means, please go play it. It's hilarious. But other than that, we're mainly focusing on that second effect. With that out of the way, let's get into some combos. So I'll go over my replays here. Now, the primary combos that you will see in Super Quant nowadays that are 1 card and 1.5 card, meaning it's 1 card plus a discard of any card, is Alphan and Blue. These combos guarantee you an 8 to 7 Mat Magnus. There is only one situation in which you get a 7 Mat Magnus instead of an 8 for both. Now, the important thing about an 8 material Magnus, and I will go ahead and start running the replay, is that 8 materials means you can use the spin on your turn, you can use a spin on your opponent's turn, and still have a Floodgate. And that's really powerful because that Floodgate is equivalent to a Droll and Lockbird, one of the best hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the current moment. I'm currently running this in the background right now, but I'll run through it when we get to the next time, because the important thing about combos for Super Quant is that they normally go one of 3 ways, because of how Alphan works. Alphan is a random 1 in 3 opportunity, and that 1 in 3 opportunity can hit white, red, or black. That is the thing you will be selecting with Alphan in all situations. How your line goes past that is dependent on a few factors and what you hit. And here you can see that was our white hitting our Alphan hitting black. But I will run through what you do with red now. So you'll go Alphan. Alphan is going to tribute itself, revealing white, black, red. You're going to hit red here, obviously. That's the preset of the code. We're going to go Black Lair Graveyard Effect, which adds a Super Quant spell from deck to hand. We're going to grab Lair 19, and we have White Lair adding another copy of Alphan. This is important. We need to add from deck to hand. We have Blue Lair adding Zetan, Zetan going to special summon itself, and Zetan going to dump the Alphan Spike. Now, this card, awful on field effect. Absolutely trash on the field. In the grave, however, it has now become one of our most valuable assets, because you can banish it and a Super Quantal Fairy Alphan from your graveyard to activate the field spell, Super Quantal Mech-Ship Magna Carrier, from your deck. And what that means is that you no longer need to use Blue Lair or Black Lair's searches to get the Super Quantal field spell. You can use that on Lair 19s and Zetans and still be able to go into Magnus using the field spell. So it's ultra valuable to us, and it is a great card to dump with the cost of Zetan. So let's continue right here. We're going to go Black Lair and going to summon an Ouroboros. You want to be sure to summon a mech that you aren't going to make later down in the combo. You'll see with this line, we're going to end up whites and blue, summon white. We're going to shuffle back the spell just because we can. White is going to dump a red, red's going to revive the blue, and here we're going to overlay into a Magna Liger. We're going to go field spell pitch the Alphan we added to summon the Grand Pulse, and all 3 of these will combine together to make a Magnus. And here we did this with a 1-card hand. This took absolutely nothing, and in a real duel, you are going to have 4 other cards in your hand, which could be hand traps, could be other forms of disruption. Great ways to continue your combos or to stop your opponents. You can even use other cards in your hand for extension if you need to. This is just the 1-card combos. But here we're going to go for white, and you'll be able to see this one more time. I can't really go much slower than I am right now, unless I figure out how to change the game speed, which I do not know how to do. But that's alright, we've got a couple of options. And you can always slow down the video. I highly recommend going back, slowing it down if you're a little curious. But most of the effects are pretty straightforward once you get the hang of them. You can see we're summoning the blue. The blue's going to grab the Zetan. And the Zetan is going to summon, dump the Alphan Spike, and then summon out Black Lair in this situation. We're not going to go for Alphan, because we already have Alphan. That's for the blue combos, I apologize. But here we can discard 1, make the Grand Pulse overlay for a Lustrax, and these 3 are going to make our Magnus. Now, importantly, for black combos, for both blue starter and Alphan starter, black combos always result in 1 less material. And if you noticed in the Alphan one, you'll be able to see why. You have to do something to get black out of the Xyz monster it summons and into the graveyard to grab yourself a Lair 19. We'll go blue combo black and you'll get it. Now, blue requires a discard. Blue is slightly worse than Alphan, but at the end of the day, this is one of the strongest boss monsters in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it is with 1 card or 1 discard. You're fine. You'll be fine pitching 1 card. Here, I've got a Nibiru just to show. But see, you activate black's on-field effect, and you can attach, I believe in this case we are summoning a Lustrax, and we're going to attach the red. You can detach the Black Lair to negate your own card. Now, if you saw in the past combo, we used Magna Liger to pop our own card. You can also, depending on the situation, use Lustrax to negate your own card so that you don't remove your own card advantage. And there, that puts Black Lair into the grave to then grab your spells. And we don't actually need... We use Lair 19 here, I believe. What is it to summon? We are summoning a Green Lair. Green Lair in this situation, you can do this for all 3 hits of Alphan. You can go Lair 19, summon a green, and green can summon the Alphan from your hand to save a discard and put an extra material under Magnus. So we got the field spell going to make a Grand Pulse. We've got Alphan targeting the green, make themselves both level 4, because Alphan has a first effect, and we are going to attach that excess white layer we had there and summon that Magnus. Now we've got this once more for red, and importantly, you might also notice that with some variation slightly, red and white combos are completely identical. And the reason for this is because if you ever summon red, you can simply go red effect on the field, grab back white from grave, and white effect in hand to send red. And then red will trigger from grave, and it's effectively like you summoned white with a couple of battle position changes. So now you can see over here, we're going to grab our white layer, we're going to get the Alphan hits, we're going to summon out the green layer is going to summon the Alphan from our hand, and we're going to do the same combo as before. We're going to overlay for the Lestrex, we're going to make this a 4, we're going to overlay, and we're going to field spell for the Grand Pulse. You want to overlay the associated mech, and the Alphan, so that you have that other mech to turn into a mech beast with your field spell. Now, we have our final combo here, and thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy Super Quant content, and especially if you're watching this a little ways into the future, please go check out Plus Infinite's video, where he both talks about the cards, these new cards when they first came out, as well as talks about other specifics with the combos. I'm here doing a showcase, he's doing more of an in-depth guide. So if you want more detail, please go check him out. For now, let's go blue combo white. We have our blue layer normal summon. I'm going to go through this one pretty quickly here. We're going to grab our Zetan. Zetan is going to summon itself. Zetan effect, we're going to mill the Alphan Spike, as well as summon an Alphan. And Alphan, we're going to go with our Ladybug colors, blue, red, white, or not blue, red, white, black, red, white. We're going to go white hit, we're going to grab our field spell with black, and red's going to revive that black. We're going to then dump another white to grab another Alphan. We're going to go Alphan Spike Banish and activate the field spell. And then we're going to go layer 19 for our green layer. And green layer is going to summon our Alphan. We're going to make our Lestrex. And you've seen this a couple times now. Make the Grand Pulse. And before the replay ends, I want to make one tiny note. You can either summon a green layer here, or if you are playing 2 red, which some people are testing out 1 red, so this doesn't entirely work, you can summon another red, and red add back something from grave to conserve that Alphan discard. However, that doesn't always work, because in some combos you have to red add back the white, as I mentioned, if you hit red. And so to me that's a little bit more unreliable, as well as having that green layer as a backup plan is always nice. So I recommend just doing this for simplicity's sake. It's not that major of a difference, and more often than not it will be fine. So we're going to see here, we're going to whip out that Magnus with the Magnet Carrier, and there we are. So with that, that is our last replay. Let me go ahead and pull up the deck. Those 6 combos are what you need to know for 1 and 1.5 card Magnus combos. If you'd like to check out anything Super Quant related, I mentioned earlier, please check out the Discord server. Please subscribe here. I'm planning on making a whole host of decks with these new amazingly fun cards. And with that out of the way, thank you all very much for watching. This has been the Lavender Lab. My name's V, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.